Bienvenue. Oh, come outside. I'm in the garden. Come out here. It's Saturday morning and the pool is still, that particular glassy still that only happens before anyone has been in it, before children and breezes in the afternoon disturb the surface. The light this morning is pale and gold and cool, and this evening it will be copper, long and low, and I've been thinking about this evening already. I've been thinking about this evening since approximately Wednesday, which tells you something about the week I've had and also about evening swimming in June. Not a grand thing, the pool at the edge of the garden, which is not particularly large, and is, I will admit, occasionally home to things that have blown in from the tree above it. I have a system. The point is, the water at dusk, in that light, with the warm air and the day have been long and slow and unhurried. There is nothing better. There is genuinely nothing I can think of that is better, and I haven't even been in it yet today. I want you to know this feeling, if you don't already. Come and sit with me out here. The morning is still quiet, and I want to talk about evening swimming, the particular ritual of it, and why today might be exactly the day to plan for it. A Saturday garden invitation, which is the most outward-facing one of the week. At some point today, or this evening, specifically, if you can manage it, go toward water. This doesn't need to be ambitious. If you have a garden, the paddling pool counts entirely. A paddling pool filled in the late afternoon and sat in with a cold drink while children play counts as an evening swim in every dimension that matters. A public pool, an open lido if you're lucky enough to have one nearby, a lake or river if it's safe and you know it, a cold shower or bath with the bathroom window open if outside is not possible. The specific time matters, late afternoon or early evening, after the peak heat, when the air has given up some of its warmth, but the sun is still there, lower and longer. If you're managing the logistics, go in the hour before the light changes. The hour after 4 and before 8 in June is the window. Everything is better then. Go in. The water is always warmer than you think it will be. Walt Whitman wrote Leaves of Grass in 1855, and it is a book that is almost impossible to excerpt cleanly because the thing it does requires the whole accumulation of it. But there is a passage in Song of Myself that I keep coming back to every summer at some point when being outside and in nature stops being a nice idea and starts feeling almost urgent. I will go to the bank by the wood and become undisguised and naked. I am mad for it to be in contact with me. Mad for it to be in contact with me. That phrase, the wanting to be touched by something real, by water, by air, by ground, by the physical world, and the slight desperation of it, the hunger, the body that's been indoors and clothed and managed and mediated through screen and upholstery and artificial temperature and wants, suddenly, the water. That is what the evening swim is, a moment of the world in contact with the body, not athletic, not productive, just you in water in the evening with nothing between your skin and the thing it's touching. Whitman understood it. He was writing it in the 1850s, and he is describing the same thing you feel on a June evening when you walk past a pool and the water is still and warm-looking in the late sun, and something in you thinks, I could just go in. You can. You should. You should go in. Come through to the ballroom. I've put on something that sounds like the light going golden later, a preview of this evening. Bring nothing, just sit for a few minutes before the day begins. That is the particular quality of a summer Saturday, that exact feeling. Hold on to it. And let's get into the nursery. The first time I swam in a lake, I was 8 or 9, and it was a lake in the countryside somewhere. Somewhere ordinary, not particularly dramatic. A lake that was probably 3 or 4 acres and surrounded by trees on 3 sides and a low bank on the 4th. The water at the edge was warm from the sun. The adults had been saying all afternoon that we would go in later at the cool of the day, and the cool of the day came at around 6, and we walked down to the bank, and I went in first because I always went in first, being the kind of child who preferred to get the cold shock over with quickly rather than edge in gradually. And it was cold. Not the edge. The edge was warm and silky from a day in the sun, but 2 steps in and it was suddenly colder, something from deeper water. And then I was in up to my waist and the shock of it was extraordinary and real. What I remember most is the light on the surface. The lake was doing something with the evening light that I had not seen water do before. The surface was copper orange in the distance and then darker closer in, and wherever you moved, your arms made a wake that caught the light differently and then closed behind you. I think I came out after 20 minutes and stood in the warm air with a towel and felt the specific feeling of having been in something elemental and come back out, clean, tired in a good way, entirely present in a way that the rest of the day hadn't required. I have been chasing that feeling ever since. Come with me for a moment. I want to show you the water. Stand here at the edge and look at it. This morning it's glassy and pale and still, and this evening it'll be something entirely different. Amber and warm on the surface, the cooler water underneath, the light going long and copper through the trees. That's the whole thing. That's what I'm trying to get you to. Let me tell you about evening swimming, why it is different from morning or midday, and how to find it even if you don't have a pool or a lake within easy reach. The daytime swim is an event in its own right. The sun overhead, the heat on your back when you surface, the cooling function of the water. It is lovely, but it is busy and bright and direct. The evening swim is something else. The air is still warm, sometimes warmer than you expect after a long day, but it has given up its aggression. The shadows are long. The water, if it has been in sun all day, holds the heat in its upper layer, so the surface is genuinely warm while something cooler moves underneath. You float in that warm layer, and the evening is all around you, and it's quiet in a way that midday isn't quiet. The light does something different to the water in the evening. Everything goes amber and long. The surface holds the reflection of the sky, which in June goes from blue to gold to pale rose, and you're floating in it, literally, if you turn on your back and let your ears go under. The sound from above and the water becomes muffled and distant, and you hear instead the small underwater sounds, your own heartbeat, your arms moving, the bubble of your breath. There's almost no experience that removes you from everything else so completely and with so little effort. You don't have to meditate or breathe deliberately or practice anything. You just go in and float. Where to find it if you don't have a pool or easy access to open water? Public pools, particularly outdoor ones or lidos, often have evening sessions, and the atmosphere at 6 or 7 o'clock is entirely different from peak daytime. The people who swim in the evening are swimming for the pleasure of it, mostly. They're not racing, not doing aggressive lanes, not there for fitness primarily. Evening pool swimmers have a particular quality of calm. Open water, a river section that is signposted for swimming, a reservoir where it's permitted, a lake with a designated area. In the UK, there are more of these than most people know about. The Outdoor Swimming Society maintains a searchable map, and your local area likely has at least one option within reasonable distance. The garden paddling pool, sincerely, fill it in the afternoon, let it warm in the sun, and get in at 6 or 7 when the day has cooled slightly. You're entirely too large for it, probably, but that's not the point. The point is the water and the evening air and the 10 minutes of genuine sensory contact with something real. The cold bath. In the evening, after a hot day, a cold to cool bath with the window open is not the same as being in a lake, but it is doing the same work. The contrast of warm air and cool water, the physical reset, the feeling of being clean in the cellular sense, not just in the soap sense. The ritual after the swim is part of it. coming out into warm air, the towel that has been in the sun, the dry clothes pulled on, the particular weight of a body that has been in water, heavier, looser, calmer than it was before, sitting somewhere with a cold drink and not doing very much for a while, and being entirely comfortable with that. I find the evening swims change the quality of the night that follows. Dinner tastes different, sleep comes differently, the whole evening is oriented around the water in a way that gives it a shape it might not otherwise have had. Which is perhaps the best thing I can say about making more of summer evenings. Give them shape. A reason to go outside at 6, a ritual that belongs to the season and this light and this kind of day. The swim is one way in. There are others. But the swim is very good. Before we carry on, I want to introduce you to something. You're here because you love the seasons and the rhythms of a life that pays attention to the world around it. And I think that means there's a book with your name on it. It's called Daughter of Water. It's fantasy, elemental, lyrical, with magic rooted in the natural world and a heroine who discovers she was always meant for something larger. My husband and I wrote it together, and I'm quietly proud of it. It's an NIEA finalist. It has 5 stars from Reader's Favorite, and it also was awarded the Bragg Medallion. You'll find it at damps.com, that's DAMPTS.com, and on Amazon. The links are in the show notes. If you give it a chance, it means everything to us. Right, carrying on. Oh, I just remembered. I have a letter in my pocket. Let me pull it out. It's a letter from someone who writes, I feel like I never make the most of summer evenings. The light stays late and I mean to do something with it, but by the time 7 o'clock comes, I'm usually on the sofa and it seems like too much effort to go outside. Then I look at the window and the light has gone and I feel like I've missed it again. This happens every year. Oh, I know this feeling so well, and it has a specific name in German. I'm going to butcher this, so bear with me. Torchluspanik. The fear of the gate closing. The panic of an opportunity slipping. But I want to offer you a slightly different way of looking at it, because I think the framing of making the most of is part of the problem. When the light goes and you haven't gone outside, you feel like you failed the evening. But actually, you were tired and you were on the sofa, which is also a valid way to spend a June evening. The issue is not that you chose wrong. The issue is that you didn't choose deliberately. You defaulted to the sofa not because you decided to rest, but because the outside option felt too large and unformed. The solution isn't to force yourself outside through willpower. It's to make the outside options smaller and more specific. Next week, pick one evening, just one. Before that day, decide, not in the moment, but earlier, before you're tired, that you're going to go toward the water at 6 o'clock. Which water, where? Tell someone, if that helps. Put your towel somewhere visible in the morning. When 6 o'clock comes, the decision is already made. You don't have to generate the energy to choose. You only have to follow through on what the morning you decided was. The gate doesn't close at 6 o'clock. The gate opens at 6 o'clock for exactly this kind of thing. You've been looking at it from the wrong side. The pool is still, the morning light is on it now, pale and cool, the surface unbroken. In about 4 hours, the children will have their own ideas about that, and by 6 o'clock this evening, I intend to have ideas of my own. The day is ahead of us. That's the whole gift of Saturday morning, the planning of it. The decision made now, before the afternoon gets tired, that this evening will have water in it. I hope yours does too, even just the bath with the window open. Tomorrow, I'll be in the morning room if you'd like to come back. We'll go slower. Until then, take good care of yourself.